Hi everyone, I'm Sherry and we're here at the Community Pantry Hope Garden in Gallup. Today we're going to teach you how to prune a tree. And I have with me John Rains, and then I have Dwayne Skeets. Dwayne here is my helper. He's the second gardener here, and then of course John volunteers every Tuesday. Without fail, he's here every Tuesday. So he's either helping us with the garden or he's helping inside with the bags. So we'll get started in a little bit. I'll show you our tools and how we work them. Okay, so these are the tools that you're gonna need to start pruning. These are hand pruners. You're gonna need a set of gloves. You're gonna need some sealer. So we seal anything we cut that's larger than a nickel. This one here is black seal. You spray it on and it seals the little areas where you need it to. If it's smaller than a nickel, you can just spray a little bit of hydrogen peroxide on it. These are smaller loppers, and then of course you got your big loppers here. If you have anything really large, then of course you have a reciprocating saw that you can use. And those are the tools you'll want to start. Oh, and a ladder. Make sure you have a ladder. You don't want to be standing on a bucket and get hurt. Okay, so now that we talked about the tools that we can use, we're going to talk about safety. So that safety's first. So John, you want to explain how you can get hurt and what you don't do and don't do?
You always want to wear safety glasses when you're pruning trees because it's so easy to get with all the limbs around you and everything, especially if it's really crowded. You want to make sure you don't poke an eye out. And then the tools can be also dangerous, like a reciprocating saw. You got a blade here that's moving back and forth, and you if you're doing it by yourself, at least you know you're not going to cut somebody else's limb off or something like that. But you need to be careful about the tools you use. They can cut you. Okay, and then when you're climbing a ladder, if you do climb with a ladder, I think you should have somebody there holding the ladder. When you're positioning it against a limb, the limb isn't always square to the ground, so you got to be careful not to fall off the ladder and hurt yourself. And after that, it's just a matter of being real careful. And don't fall off the ladder or don't cut off a limb, and just go easy on this. Just take your time and start shaping your trees. Here we have an apple tree that it had just been planted some time ago, and it's badly in need of thinning out. And you look at all the limbs there, and it's got quite a selection of limbs, but they're still just way too thick. You need to eliminate some of these branches and shape it. So we look at the bottom, and you see a lot of limbs in here that are growing up through the center, like right in here. And we can eliminate that, and we want to eliminate it by cutting it as close as we can to a larger branch or something like that. So probably better to get this lopper because it's tight there, and cut that off, open that up a little bit, and just continue doing that on. Here's another one that's, you start from the bottom, and you have to look at your different tools and see, you think which one is going to be more appropriate, and try to get as close as you can to the larger branch that you're cutting it off with. Like that, you see? And we just, little by little, we start eliminating some of this overgrowth. And it's just a process of learning. And at first you might just prune it, lightly. If you can always cut it later if you think it needs it, but once it's cut off, it's not coming back. So just to look at it and try to get that center opened up so you can get that sunlight going to the different fruit when it comes. And then also, if you eliminate some of these extra branches, the nutrients that are coming from the roots will not have to be over distributed. So your fruit will be a little larger than it would be if you left all these other branches here. So just, start in the bottom and eliminate what you think, eliminate some of this clutter. And if you've got, like in this instance here, you've got two branches right on top of each other. They're both going the same direction. So it's just best to eliminate one. Just reach up here and take that off. And if you've chosen one that isn't strong enough to do that, then grab your larger pair of pruners or something and eliminate that. So, okay. So just continue doing that. Open it up, and it's a learning process, and it's not too complex, but just practice on it and get it opened up.
Anything dead you want to take off.
Yeah, so you're doing this when it's dormant.
Yeah.
You don't want to do it when it's already budded out and you got, then you're wasting a lot of the tree's energy that it's taken to put in all this, all the nutrients from the roots. If you wait till it's all budded up, a lot of that energy has already gone up to the top and it's been wasted. So just try to do it before it buds and just eliminate some of the waste inside.
You don't want anything that's crossing over each other or touching. If you see, it's going to start, once it's small and it's crossing over, well, you want to get rid of it before it gets too large, because when it does get large, it's going to either touch it or it's going to cross over it. Anything that's growing straight down, you also want to cut off.
And if the cuts are larger than about a nickel or a quarter, they need to be, you need to get your pruning compound and coat them so that you won't have intrusion by insects.
Reach it.
Opening up here, we can see where it's being sealed.
And if it's smaller than a nickel, a lot of times this hydrogen peroxide helps the little spots just heal real quick. Just like it would a wound on your hand. Just gonna keep the bacteria out.
And here we see this one looks nice, but then it's hitting this here. So you gotta choose which one you're gonna leave. You're gonna leave this one or you're gonna leave this one. And my feeling is I'll take this one out, and it opens it up a little bit. And then you got two here. They're not going the same direction, but and these ones growing into the inside, you want to eliminate those.
You want as much sunlight to come from the top straight down.
Mm-hmm. And just continue doing that on, and it'll open it up, and I think you'd be happy with the way your tree is going to turn out.
And when you're pruning, you kind of want to prune at an angle versus straight across. If possible. When you're getting that close to some of them, you just kind of have to go straight across, but that one is the inside. Imagine these trees being a lot larger. You would need someone to help hold a big limb while the other one's cutting it. Or sometimes you'd be on a ladder and then you need somebody to hold the ladder for you. These trees are small apple trees.
And if we do this halfway, it'll show up in the future that the fruit will be larger and it'll be more plentiful. It's just a matter of using your own judgment. And this one was so overgrown because it was never pruned before. So it takes a lot of cutting the first time you do it. and sometimes, you know, it looks okay down here, but then you get up here, and it's cluttered again. So you got to eliminate something to keep it. And one thing you can do, you don't have to cut the whole thing off. You can cut it to a. You can reach up here where a bud is. One of these buds is facing the outside, and prune just ahead of it, and that's going to make that branch stop there, and it will start growing to the outside with this bud that's facing the outside. So you don't have to prune off the whole branch if you don't want to, but if you leave two of them here close together, you've got to cut one of them back, and don't do it like say as this is an example. If I cut it right above this, that branch that develops from this bud is going to go to the inside. That's not what you want. You want it to go to the outside. So you prune it right above that, cut it off, and it'll go this way. So it's basic, but it's satisfying to help the tree grow how it should be.
And John, how do you, like, if you want this tree to stop growing, how tall would you want it? Apple trees don't get more than about 15, 20 feet?
Yeah, you know, I don't think it's reached that yet, but if you want that to be the top of your tree, you know, kind of start topping it off right there. If you want to be higher than this, well, just let it grow up again. But at some point, if you let it get too high, then you got the dilemma of having to get on a ladder and perhaps fall off of the ladder.
Yes.
So it's your choice. It's just really your choice.
Alrighty, maybe we try another tree now. Okay, so when you water a tree, you want to get your water a little bit away from this. So if you have a dripper line, this dripper line right here is going to go about here. Actually, this tree needs to be out to here, because what happens is when you plant your tree, you have your big root ball at the bottom of this. After about 3 years or so, you got roots that's coming out over in here. They're called feeder roots. And then what you're going to do is you're going to start watering further and further out as you get the tree a little bigger, because these feeder roots are not getting any water out here. You're just getting all of this soaked. So your best bet is to water up at least this far away, or as far away as the bulb of the tree. So your tree is going to be like an umbrella. So if your umbrella is way out here, your roots are going to be as far out as that big space of the tree, the umbrella area of this tree. Okay, so when you're watering, the best is a drip line. If you don't have a drip line, you can also water, rainwater is the best. So if you can have one of your gutters come out and make a ditch and kind of water the whole row, that's gold, the rainwater. City water has a lot of chlorine, alkaline, and then you're going to start seeing that white coating. It's not the best for your plants. And you don't want to water real close to the base here. You want to water out here. So this year, each year, you can just keep on going further and further out to let this get wider and wider. So you're watering out here versus right here. So save your rainwater for sure. It's the best. The reason we have this white on the bottom is to keep bugs from crawling up. They say ants won't crawl on something white, and it also protects it in the winter. It's still going to get cold, but at least the bark stays together better, and it protects the base of your plant. Any household paint that is indoor, cheapest white paint. You don't want any outdoor. You don't want oil paint. You just want basic flat paint, flat white paint.